what are the different career paths for developers in robotics field?
Sure. So what I've noticed is that people tend to kind of go one of two routes. So the first route is that they tend to stay technical. So a developer tends to go from being a junior developer to a senior developer to an architect, and then they go up the chain with architects and how big the projects get. So that's if you want to stay technical. However, I've also seen it that someone can go from junior developer to senior developer, then maybe to architect, but sometimes they start going into project management as well. So they go into managing the projects as opposed to coming up with the solution. And then in consulting, there actually is kind of a third path, which is sales. So you go out and you try to get new clients based on the information that you have. And as a developer, you know the best. So kind of different levels depending on where you want your career to go.
What are some challenges and opportunity you face in AI and robotics field?
Oh yes, there's lots of challenges, unfortunately. So let's start with the bad and end with the good. So the challenges I find right away especially relate to RPA or robotics, is that the RPA softwares that we work with are wonderful and they're getting better all the time, but sometimes they're not very stable. So with RPA softwares, they are written in a way that not as technical people can get up and running and come up with a bot very quickly. However, they're not the most stable. So for example, if you run an automation where you're clicking through a website, if that website changes, it's very likely that your bot will break and you'd have to go back in and recode certain parts. So that's definitely a big challenge we have as far as keeping bots functional as time goes on. A challenge that we have in AI is that while it's a huge buzzword and everyone loves it, the problem with a lot of things with AI is it's an emerging technology where our clients are not always comfortable with the level of unknowns that we may have just because the field is emerging. So for example, when we deliver a machine learning model, you give a result with a certain accuracy. That accuracy is not 100%. So if you're doing something like, say, image detection or object detection in an image, you'll say, well, I think that this is a cat in this image with a 75% likelihood. 75% is not really great, especially if you consider in robotics, it's 100%. You get the result 100% of the time, or something is broken. Whereas AI is just kind of like, well, sometimes that is what you get because that's as good as the technology is. So those are some challenges. Now, the opportunity, I think, is actually fixing those two things. As the technology grows and it's no longer emergent, AI is going to, the accuracy is going to just go through the roof. And I think there's a huge opportunity and a huge push in the community to get better. Everyone wants to beat the benchmark. Likewise, in robotics, this is obviously a big issue where if the website changes or something changes, the bot breaks. We want the bots to become more stable. So just fixing the challenges alone are huge opportunities. And then, of course, being an emerging technology, there's something new every day. There's something new every day, and you can always chase out and understand and learn and grow. You're not staying stagnant in these fields whatsoever. So that's some great challenges, unfortunately, and opportunities that they come up with.
Here is my last question for you. What advice do you have for aspiring developers to be successful in AI and robotics?
I think the most important thing is passion. Make sure that if you love this, you will do well. It's hard, and sometimes, like I mentioned, you're not going to get the most accurate results, but if you just keep working, you will get through this, and you can be here like me talking about your career in AI. So, it's something I love. It's something I love to share with other people. And I think that if you're an aspiring developer, keep that passion alive by looking up. There's lots of articles. You can look up almost any technology website, even in business nowadays, you can't go anywhere with hearing about some part of AI. So just stay on top of the news, hear about all the cool things that are going on. And then also, one little piece of advice in addition to that is treat yourself to tech conferences, because you get to hear about all sorts of, the coolest things is hearing what people are doing with the technology. So for example, as much as you want to do, you like the theory and stuff like that, it's always so cool to hear what other people are doing with these technologies. So my advice would be to stick with it and, keep learning and have that passion and always keep track of what other people are doing.